Alright, welcome back. Let's talk blades because that's what we're into. Today I'm featuring the only knife in my collection that's a ceramic knife. Yeah, you heard it. Big knife guy, like myself, with a ceramic knife? Yeah, well, you know. Sorry, excuse me, that's a LaCroix talking. Yes, indeed, from Schrade, they have a ceramic gentleman's folder. Well, at least in my opinion, I think it's a gentleman's folder. It's very sleek looking, very simple. I've heard a lot of good things about ceramic knives, and I've heard a lot of bad things about ceramic knives. First, let's get into the specs. If you're trying to find this knife, I'm sure you could find it on their website. I haven't really tried looking up for it because I bought this a long time ago, and I'm pretty sure whatever price tag I paid for it is going to be different today. But that's up to you guys, whether or not you guys want to look it up. You can just look up Schrade Ceramic Knife and the number, the SCH404L, and I believe the L stands for large. This is supposed to be the larger version. It is a very nice knife. Well, you're looking at 2.39 ounces. Yes, that is very light. Under 3 ounces? Heck yeah. Why not? And we'll go ahead and we'll do 3.5-inch cutting edge with an overall 8 inches. Now there's only one there is only one liner in there. That's the one you see right there. And then everything else is just, G10, and you got this really interesting, huge pocket clip. But it's deep carry, so that's always good. You got a little lanyard hole if you desire putting a lanyard on here, which I wouldn't because this thing is way too sleek for it. If I remember correctly, when I bought this, I think this was between 60 and 80 because it's ceramic. I heard that, ceramic is really good for food prep because you don't have to worry about any rust on the blade. You don't have to worry about sharpening it too much because I heard that ceramic keeps an edge for a very, very long time. Which also goes on to turn that this would be a pain in the butt to sharpen because it's ceramic. So you would probably need, I heard, like maybe a diamond sharpener in order to sharpen this, or you would need to send it in to the factory itself in order to get it professionally sharpened. But this is just me going off of what I've heard. I have never tried to sharpen ceramic knives, but I've also heard some bad stories. I've heard that this kind of knife can snap because of it being ceramic and not metal, which makes sense because if it was metal, it'd obviously bend before it would break, or it would show some signs of bending. With that being said, would this be this is not, to me, in my opinion, a hard use knife. I don't think ceramic is meant for that. I think if you just want it to do some very, very light cutting, this would be perfect. One of my buddies had a ceramic knife. He went to go place it on something and it slipped out of his hand and it hit, I don't know if it was marble countertop. I think it was marble, but went boom, boom, boom. It went like that. And when that happened, he actually broke a piece of the tip off. I don't know if that was because he had a really crappy ceramic blade, because it wasn't from this company. It was from something else. I don't know if it was like a Chinese knockoff. It could have been. But he told me that it was white. It was a white, like, ceramic knife, and he dropped it, and when he dropped it and the way it bounced, I guess it sent the right kind of force into it in order to break the tip. So he told me, he's like, never, ever, ever get a ceramic knife. You're an idiot for buying a ceramic knife. Now here I am with this. So does that make me an idiot? No, I just like knives. And I find any and all knives very interesting. So I can't, who am I, to... But I was curious about it, and I wanted it, so I got it. And I gotta tell you, it feels like a normal knife. It's just made of a different material. I do like the little thumb studs on there. That's interesting. It's like a shiny kind of black type of thumb stud that's on there. Either way, let's see how wide this thing is, because it's really, really slim in the pocket. At least to me anyways. 8.7 millimeters on the handle. And on the blade, you are looking at a 2.1 millimeters. So yeah, it's pretty thin. But I guess that all really depends on what you're looking for. This feels like a gentleman's folder. When I hold it in my hand, it feels very pretty. Just one of those type of knives you wouldn't want to just bust out for any occasion, but hey, maybe it is. For those times when you just want to have a ceramic knife. Would I go backpacking with this? Hell no. Would I want to walk around with this just to be cool? Sure. I think that's what it is, just a cool factor. Well, it didn't break, so I don't think it's cheap ceramic. But the deployment on this is kind of stiff. I've never used it for anything, so we'll test how sharp it is here in a minute. But yeah, it's a little bit stiff on the opening. But it's very light. Very, very light. It almost feels like I'm holding a stick in my hand because of how light it is. So let's see here. Let's see what we got for you. So here it is with some string or cotton cord. Yeah, that no resistance whatsoever. It just cut through it like it was almost nothing there. Let me get some paper out for you. Here it is with some paper. That's the first time I've ever used this thing for cutting, by the way. Cutting anything since it's been outside of the box. At this point, this paper is just... But yeah, you get the idea. This thing is sharp. It is very sharp, and it'll keep an edge for a pretty decent amount of time. Now, does that mean that it is metal detector proof? Well, if it wasn't for this pocket clip and the steel liner and the standoffs and the screws and maybe even the pivot and maybe the thumb studs, then yeah, there's no other piece of metal on there. But if that's what you're looking for, I mean, this isn't something that I would tell you to take with you to a place where you shouldn't have a knife. Because somebody asked me one time, they're like, oh, well, if you couldn't take anything with you, would you carry like a plastic or wooden knife? I'd be like, I just wouldn't carry a knife at all. Because, I mean, if they're that regulated on what you carry with you, you don't think they're just going to search you anyway? I mean, there's always going to be that possibility. They're going to be like, extra safe, we need to find out if you have anything that resembles a weapon. Then don't carry it in the place. With that being said, this probably might not be the type of knife that I would want to carry if I wanted to carry a knife that doesn't have metal, because this clearly does have metal. So, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a little silly, but at the same time I understand why he asked that question. Could this be something that you would be able to sneak somewhere had there be a regulation for not carrying any folding knives? If this thing was completely made of something else with a ceramic blade and no metal parts, then I would consider it, but that's still a really high chance of not carrying anything because you shouldn't type ordeal. But I don't know. Once again, Schrade. Model number, ooh, that is sharp, is SCH404L. If you're curious about a ceramic knife, this is the only ceramic knife. There were other ceramic knives I was looking at, and I was thinking about getting them, but I was like, when am I ever going to carry a ceramic frickin' knife? When? When is it? Why? You carry a knife because of the blade steel. You don't carry it because you're like, I don't feel like carrying a knife. I want to carry a recycled dinner plate that has handles, scales of G10-ish folder in mi poquito. Then yeah, carry this. But I just kind of see it kind of pointless. I went to a Renaissance fair, and in the Renaissance fair, this booth had a guy who made knives out of the weirdest things. He had plywood, he had oak wood, he had G10. I think carbon fiber was one of the ones he made knives out of, and a G10, and plastic, and I think there was even glass. There was a glass knife. But there was just, different knives made of different things other than metal, and I thought that was really interesting, and that's what fueled me to want to buy this. But of course, this is a few years old, so that was back when I first saw it, and I was like, I wonder, and I'm looking around the internet, and I find that I bought this off of Amazon, the Schrade Ceramic knife, and I just wanted it for the collection, just because I didn't have a knife that was made of something else other than metal. So I was really tempted to buy a carbon fiber knife just because I love carbon fiber, and I thought that was kind of neat to have something like that, I don't know. Don't expect this thing to be a really, really fast deployment, because it's really, when you get this knife, you're going to feel that it's very, very precise on opening. I think it's got Teflon washers in there. It feels like it, because it feels really like, and you can't loosen the pivot, obviously. Look at that. You can't. It's on there. It is on there. So, I don't know. Slash that like button, stab that subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys in the next one.